So, you want to know how to draw hands. They look like they should be really easy, but hands are ridiculously complicated and kind of weird. Hands are tough, but so are you. So, here are 5 tips for drawing hands that aren't just practice. Number 1, warm up. It does no one any good to go in cold when trying to do something complicated. It doesn't matter if you have already learned how to draw hands or if you are just starting. Launching straight into anything and having it not immediately come out perfect can really gunk up your confidence. I know that if I don't at least warm up for a couple of minutes first, pretty much everything I try to do makes me upset because it's not coming out the way I want it to. So start with a warm up. Get your jitters out, get out those bad first 5-10 sketches, and try different things. Try to sketch loosely, try to do a continuous line drawing, try sketching in pen. Warm-ups don't have to be long. It can be 5-10 minutes. Pick a length of time that works for you. Set up and get started. Bullet point off this first tip. Sometimes it helps to quote unquote set the mood for your drawing practice, whether that is making yourself a cup of tea, refilling your water bottle, putting on headphones. There will never be a perfect time to draw and you will never have perfect conditions, but you can set the mood for yourself. After you are warmed up, or even before, you should be looking for references that you are excited to draw. It's always a good choice to start out with basic hand positions, but you also want to find things that you are interested in, whether it is dynamic posing. You want to find something that interests you. The same goes for drawing portraits, for doing figure studies. You want to find something that you want to draw. And if you can't find the reference you're looking for, take a picture of your own hand or somebody else's hand. You are sometimes the best reference library you can access. Tip number 3, figure out your learning style. There are 1.5 million ways to draw hands, but you need to find what works best for you. Breaking things down into simple shapes is often the first and most useful tip. If you look at your palm, it's not exactly a square. It's more of a 6-sided figure if you trace the line from the bottom of your pointer finger to the web of your thumb, across to the bottom of your palm, to the other side of your palm, up the pinky side of your hand, and over to the middle of your middle finger. If that shape makes sense to you, great. If you prefer to use a square, that's also great. Once you have the basic shape of your palm established, you can then do a number of things. You can either go with the skeleton idea of drawing a hand, where you map out the knuckle joints with circles and draw a straight line for the middle of the finger. You can draw cylindrical shapes that represent each joint. When it comes to the thumb, that's a little bit different. It's a little bit more complicated, but you can start with a circle for your base and then draw kind of a sausagey shape to represent the thumb. Like everything in art, it's all about experimentation and figuring out what works best for you. I often find that a combination of methods, depending on the position of the hand, is what works best for me. There is no one correct way to draw hands. Tip number 4 is studying how your favorite artist draws hands. There is a difference between studying and copying. Copying is passing off somebody else's work as your own. Studying is breaking down that work. Studying is breaking down that artist's work, figuring out how they did it, then taking that information to incorporate into your own system and style. For one, I never draw fingernails. I think they look super weird. Instead, I tend to taper. It sort of gives the illusion of there being a nail without my actually having to draw one. The first time I attempted to figure out how to draw hands, I looked at Abigail Larson's work. Hands is so fluid and pretty, and I really love the way that she makes her poses look so dynamic. Other artists I like are Justin O'Neill, Mary Searing, Stephanie Bushima, and I know I am 100% forgetting other people. Those are the ones that immediately come to mind when I think about the evolution of my drawing style. Don't be afraid to look at other people's work. Just be conscious that you're not passing off these studies as your own. I will often write the name or the username of the reference I've used in my sketchbook. This way, 1, I can remember because I can guarantee you that I will not. And 2, if anybody asks, I can always redirect them to the reference. Lastly, tip number 5 is highlighting the sketches you love. But Megan, how does that help me draw hands? It doesn't do you any good to have an entire page full of hand sketches and not be able to immediately pinpoint the ones that you are most proud of. I have found that highlighting my favorite hands really encourages me to try drawing them in different positions, to keep working on dynamic poses, and from a purely aesthetic standpoint, I think it just looks really nice. I love flipping through my old sketchbooks and seeing the things that I have purposely highlighted and reminding myself that, oh yeah, I did draw that. That was good. You can have a page of 100 hands and not all of them are going to be perfect. So making the ones that you truly love stand out helps to keep you motivated and to encourage future drawings. I hope you found that helpful and inspired you to take your character's hands out of their pockets or from behind their back and to try to nail your style of drawing hands. Yeah, that was bad. I know. I'll stop. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.